Good morning. Today I'm thinking about this beautiful cover. It's called The Concubines' Child by Carol Jones. And I have to say, I'm a bit conflicted about this one. It's a beautiful book. It's beautifully written. I've learnt loads about sort of Asian culture. It's based in Kuala Lumpur, but there's lots of Chinese heritage, Chinese immigrants. It's a beautifully crafted story because we very slowly, there's a modern couple and we very slowly go back to a family history that's very hidden and very secretive, and then we see through those original eyes. So it's one of those time stories where we're finding out as we go along about this situation from the past. I think I just found it very sad, and there's a point in the book when you realise there's not going to be a happy ending. There's not going to be a sort of a rounding off of the story. So there's ways in which the story finishes, and there's sort of there's various understandings and various positive futures, but there's just something desperately tragic about it all. And I did get to the end, and it's very beautiful, but I did have a sort of moment where I just felt quite moved by it. It's a very moving story. There's quite a lot of people die in the story, which obviously, you know, takes a toll emotionally. And nearly, I can't think of anyone in the story that's happy with their lot. Maybe the friend, the science friend. But it's just, for me, I would have liked just a little more resolution, a little more joy. But actually, you know, that's not real life, is it? This is a really well written, very moving tale of a situation from history that was quite common. This idea of having a concubine, of producing sons, and if you couldn't do that, then you'd have wife number 2, wife number 3, and they would produce your children, but they would never really be their children. As a mother, you would never really have the mothering role, because the children would belong to the family, to the dad and the first wife. So it's just very emotional and quite tragic. It's also got this very magical element to it, this idea of curses and you know, the kind of infinite power of vengeance, I suppose. So it has got a number of elements in it. I'm glad I've read it. I think it's a beautiful book. It's very well told. It's dramatic. It's not predictable. And it's excellent. I just feel a little bit of an emotional wreck from reading it, which I will recover from, and I'm sure I will be. I'm sure I will still be glad that I've read it. But yeah, it's not a joyous read. It doesn't make you laugh or any of those elements. Not that it should, not that it says it will or anything like that, but I would just be, you know, perhaps cautious when I read it. I wouldn't want to read it if I was already feeling a little low, or if, you know, I didn't want to ponder on the horrific situation of women through time. So it's beautiful, it's well written, it's sweeping, dramatic, historically fascinating, and will take you to these beautiful places you've not been. But it is, with all of that comes a certain tang of sadness. But read it and then you will know.